Hey everyone, it's BL Productions, and in the latest Minecraft snapshot this week, that being snapshot 24W11A, Mojang made some substantial changes to the trial chambers. Not only did a couple of the chambers receive updates to the design, but a bunch of new items were added as well. The most notable of these items is the mace, a new weapon that does more damage based on how far you've fallen. It's a really interesting concept, some might even say a bit overpowered, that will certainly inspire some new PvP tactics going forward. It's a very interesting tool to use. Basically, you can use it to do combo attacks on tons of enemies because it will damage one a lot and provide knockback to all the other enemies surrounding it. So if you take it with, say, the newly added wind charge as well, you can use the wind charge using, like, I don't know, this jump thing. See if I can do it. Done. And if you don't miss, like as I like to do, you'll deal a ton of damage to one particular cow and deal tons of knockback to a bunch of other cows. It's a very interesting tool. There are a couple of issues with it right now that will be ironed out in the future snapshots, that being the enchantments problem. Personally, I'd like to see it get knockback added to it to really increase the range that it does for all the enemies that it hits back. Kind of like a massive blowdown attack would be really cool. But other than that, all the other issues I expect to be fixed within the next upcoming weeks. The mace is crafted from two other new items added in the snapshot, the heavy core and the breeze rod. Right now the heavy core is basically a decorative item that is only used for the mace, and the breeze rod can be crafted into wind charges. Both of these are obtained from the trial chambers along with some other new items in this snapshot, new armor trims, new pottery shards, and two new banner patterns. And it's these items that I want to focus on right now. See, with these additions, Mojang has finally given the trial chambers exactly what they've been needing since the start to make them good Minecraft structures: unique loot. The previous stuff you get from vaults was obviously a placeholder, but still, it was still boring and a good example of why... Oh, I have Frostwalker on. I forgot about that entirely. Whatever. It was a good example of why each structure in Minecraft needs to possess special items that can't easily be obtained otherwise. With the standard loot, arrows and amethyst shards and diamonds and such, and chest plates and glow berries and so on, the vault felt, pretty pointless, and by extension, so too did the entire trial chambers. What was the point of seeking out these structures and going through all the effort of killing all the many hordes of mobs if the loot you were going to get was easy enough to get elsewhere in the overworld? Just upping the quality of the vault's loot wouldn't fix it. Diamond armor, rare enchanted books, golden apples, and so on, you can still get those pretty easily from other, less challenging above ground structures. But by putting items you can't get elsewhere in the game into the loot tables of the chambers, Minecraft has made them desirable to a lot of players. The trial chambers have been transformed from just an interesting multiplayer-focused copper farm to a interesting multiplayer-focused copper farm containing highly sought-after items that everyone wants to get their hands on. And this type of makeover is something Mojang really has to do with all new Minecraft structures these days, for better or for worse. The older structures, villages, nether fortress, strongholds, and the like, cover the baseline stuff that you need in a good Minecraft world: tools, armor, and valuable resources like diamonds. But even the end cities with their seemingly high-end loot still supply mostly these three basic things, just with enchantments and such. Players usually use these structures for game progression and expect them to provide the appropriate items. Modern Minecraft structures need something different to distinguish themselves and make them exciting to players. Some new, special, cool item that players will want to get, like the heavy core. That's oftentimes the main draw for Minecraft players these days. In 1.20, Mojang decided to add armor trims for this purpose, sticking them into various structures both new and old. And it worked well. Their trims are a good incentive to explore, and adding decorations to armor is a neat option to have in the game. Unique items in these new structures are great, and frankly oftentimes necessary due to what the Minecraft player community wants out of an update. But I will say that the new loot can't just keep being trims or pottery shards. And what do we get out of this vault? We get a bunch of emeralds and arrows, and that's not the right... Bunch of redstone, honestly, that's kind of weird. Nice crossbow. Anyways, you can't keep putting trims and shards into different structures. Partially because it will get pretty boring if each new structure simply keeps adding new arms and shards. It's going to get kind of boring after a while. But mainly because these items are purely decorative, and thus, more or less, I hate to say it, useless. You can think of it like the so-called useless mobs Mojang has added in recent years. They don't do anything or have interesting drops, but they're there to provide more ambiance to the Minecraft world. They're basically world decorations. Items like armor trims and sherds are much the same. Their only function is aesthetic. Yes, the sherds can be used to make pots, which technically have a use because they can store a stack of an item, but you could also just make pots out of bricks to achieve the same function. But that's not a bad thing necessarily. Decorations make each Minecraft world feel more unique and alive. The problem is, the more of these useless items you have, the more clutter you have to deal with when exploring, and this feeds directly into the inventory crisis. At this point, yes, it is a crisis. You only have so much inventory space, especially in the early game, so adding more items without somehow improving the ability to gather them will become a massive headache for players. And I'm not saying this like Mojang doesn't already know it. They even address it, inventory management, directly in this latest snapshot, as one change they made was to make each vault drop a maximum of one unstackable item. Like here, well, it's the chest plate. Everything else is a stackable item. So it's only one piece of armor or one tool per vault. It's a start, but across many vaults, unstackable items can still pile up, as you kind of see here, and if I head over here, I've gone through like 60 vaults or so, and you still get tons and tons and tons of loot out of all of that. But chestfuls of items, a lot of them are stackable, yes, but a lot of them are unique, like these crossbows, and you can't really do anything with that besides either discard it or store it in a shulker box or something somewheres. There's probably a decent set of solutions to the inventory crisis, and hopefully Mojang is able to implement one before things get too out of hand. Basically, new items are good, and unique stuff is great for new structures, but it's better if they're useful, like the mace, the heavy core, and the breeze rod. Also, do you like this staircase I made using the flower pot, the heavy core, and the conduit? It's a very interesting step going up. It's 4 blocks long to a block. Basically, new items are good for the game, and unique stuff is good for new structures, but it's better if they're useful, like the maces, and the breeze rod, or the wind charge. Like that. There it is. Side note, the Minecraft community has been talking about a breeze rod ever since the breeze itself was added. And so I like that Mojang added the wind charge as the breezes drop instead, truly distinguishing it from the blaze. Now we suddenly have the breeze rod in the game, and I'm a little disappointed by that. It's great for parallelism with the blaze, but I guess it's less exciting because it's a feature we all expected, while the wind charge was more of a pleasant surprise. Anyways, I digress. Again, I'm not saying that you can't add decorative items to Minecraft, but if Mojang doesn't deal with the inventory crisis at the same time, the game will become rather stressful to play, with inventory management consuming vast amounts of gameplay time, which is not really fun for people who just want to roam about and enjoy themselves. But yeah, that's kind of what I got out of this snapshot. A cool new weapon, some nice new decorative items, and more inventory clutter. But what do you think of the snapshot? Leave your comments down below. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. But above all, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.